Hello there, everybody. This is Alex from Hardcorian Guides, being my guide for God of War Ghost of Sparta on God difficulty. Today we're doing part 9 entitled Sunken Atlantis. I think it's the next part I'm thinking of where you have to fight the two electric guys at once. But I think we still have to fight at least a couple more here anyway. But yeah, I believe that would be part 10 when we actually finish up the rest of Atlantis. But we're basically we're finally in the, I guess you could say, the true actual part of Atlantis, which, in my personal opinion, for this game, I kind of wish that Atlantis had more going on for it than what it did. I'm glad that we at least got a chance to finally explore Atlantis in a God of War game. That's pretty cool. However, it just feels kind of like we didn't really get much out of it. And to be fairly honest with you, as much as I love Ready at Dawn Studios for what they do, game-wise, they make some pretty decent games, at least the only 3 that I know of. This, Chains of Olympus, and I believe Daxter. I do like those, of course. However, I do kind of wish that, the other original classic game devs would have explored Atlantis as well at some point, but unfortunately things never work out the way they do. Which does kind of suck. I'm kind of glad that, there's some people still left in that studio that carried on to, like, the later God of War games, like God of War 4 and 5. The only name that I can think of would be Cory Balrog, of course. And I think he was an original dev from the classic games. And David Jaffe's just a weird fuck, but I don't know. I don't know. He's one of those where it's like you don't really want to put art to the artist, but it's neither here nor who cares, whatever. All I'm saying is I wish classic God of War would come back and would be better than ever, but unfortunately I don't think we're ever going to get to that point in time. Didn't mean to make a sappy statement here, but it's Atlantis. Atlantis Square Pantis for God of War. There's not much I can really talk about in the beginning parts, because it's mostly just a bunch of water stuff. There are fights that, and even a situation like this where this is kind of like a bit of a puzzle room. But for the most part, the first half of Sunken Atlantis shouldn't be much, if I remember correctly. I think it's like the later half that we get into in part 10 that I think that's when things start to kind of pick up in terms of difficulty. But we'll see that when we get there, now won't we? Now, I know I said puzzle room right here, which I thought it was, but I think the reason why... No, I know the reason why I died. The reason why I died is because I kept trying to jump to those chests, and I kept falling down and fucking it up. But yeah, okay, so we have to fight one of the electric guys again, as usual. Stick to his other arm, his left arm here, so that way you can kind of avoid the electric shocks. And do, of course, remember that he does have the ability to do an AoE attack. And as soon as the Atlanteans spawn in, the boomerang Atlanteans, just try to focus on going for them, while also simultaneously trying to keep him in camera's view, so that way you don't get tricked by any attacks that he might have coming, such as the teleport. And of course you do kind of want to stay away, even though you're on the left arm. You don't want to hover over it like all the time. You kind of just want to stick around it just a bit and then roll away, so that way he can not accidentally do the or not even accidentally, but not only you're trying to stop him from doing the AoE. Basically, you're trying not to make him do it, because I don't know how it works in terms of coding or whatever. I don't know any of that stuff. But if I had to guess, I would say that if you're too close to him all the time, I think that's when the game decides that, okay, you're too close. So we're just going to do the AoE. That's what it feels like to me. It's the same thing with the automatons, where, like, if you're too close all the time and you don't back up, after you do like a nice finisher move, then they'll probably go for a kick move. And, that kick move is kind of quick and also kind of, fast. Yeah, it's quick and fast. There you go, yeah. It does a bit of damage. You don't want to get hit by it, of course. I don't know. I was trying to think of anything I could possibly say to cover my ass there, but I had nothing. I literally had nothing I could think of that would make any sense. And, of course, my voice is already going out. What do you know? Come on, man. Like, it's the first recording of the day. Can I just at least have that? Can I at least just have a normal goddamn recording without having any issues? Please. I've got just these last 3 to go, and then after that it's Transformers time. And I think I mentioned this in the last part, but I'm actually, weirdly enough, struggling with Transformers. And I have no idea what it is. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's my equipment. I don't know what's going on, but I seem to be having a hard time playing that game. Also, it looks like this guy has a retaliation move as well. So that's why, typically, when it comes to Atlantean guys, I just grab them. I don't even bother with trying to fight them normally, because it just feels like a waste of time. Like, I could just easily just kill them a lot faster if I just spent the time, not fucking with them, I guess you could say. So there you go. I got the Scourge of Aranus fully upgraded. Again, I would highly recommend you just focus mainly on getting Arms of Sparta at least level 2, if not max level, which I think is like level 3. So I would suggest doing that. You don't have to upgrade the magic like I did. I mean, now that I know about the Arms of Sparta being really, really, really good weapons that I didn't know about, now it's like my plans have changed. But I don't feel like going back to, re-record everything and try everything over again. And unfortunately, this is the type of game that does not have a level select, so it's not like I can just go back and then select, the levels where I clearly struggled at, or the arenas where I clearly struggled at. I'd have to play the entire game again, and then I would have to edit those clips into said footage, and it's a huge waste of time. So, yeah, I mean, I understand that there's a lot of people out there like me that are visual learners, and I apologize for those that, might be watching my video and not taking in, what I say, because I don't blame you. I'm just saying that if you're not, paying attention or listening or even catching me saying something at a certain time, you might miss the important detail that it's like, oh yeah, you might want to use this, because my dumbass didn't know about it, and my dumbass didn't show it off, so all the visual learners are going to get fucked. But hopefully people are probably like, you know what, that's not working for me, I'll go find somebody else, and they might find somebody else that might help them out better than I would, but I don't know. At the end of the day, again, I say it all the time, but the stuff I do, guide-wise, is, well, for the most part, it really is purely for just entertainment. I mean, it's entertaining to me, it keeps me busy. There's plenty of stuff I could be doing better that could keep me busy, yes, but it's just one of those things that, it's nice to do. It's better than doing Let's Plays. As much as I do like to do Let's Plays, I do feel like doing guides makes it feel like it's a lot better to do. Like, I feel like I'm a lot more satisfied whenever I finish a guide, or just even a part, because it's like, well, I beat a game on hard, that's pretty cool, and now people can see that I can do that, and I can feel like I do that, and I feel good about that, that kind of stuff. And not only that, but again, the other half, of course, being that if people do actually need help with the game, hopefully I can, provide any amount of help whatsoever. So here I had to cut because I did die. Real quick, so these guys, it takes about 3 shots with just a level 1 Arms of Sparta. Not a big deal. But as soon as the Atlanteans that are the grounded ones that don't have the throwing weapons, the spear ones, you want to take care of them first, and you want to do this, the circle move. And whenever they're about to throw any of those boomerang things at you, not boomerang, but those sickle things at you, if you're in the middle of a grab chain like I was there, you just want to block so that way you don't accidentally get hit out of it. And as soon as you kill a couple of them that are in the far distance, go back to focusing on these guys. This is your priority. You don't really want to worry about killing the guys throwing stuff at you. You just kind of want to focus on these and getting these guys killed first. They should be important enough, because the guys below, the guys that throw weapons at you, they can't hit you from here, so you're better off just dealing with this. And of course, once you get up here, that's when you want to just start, taking your time with this. Grab, 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 block. Don't worry about having to do a whole re-grab chain. It's fine. Don't worry about it too much. And of course, luckily for us, we do have iframes when it comes to grabs, except for certain enemies that can't actually grab you out of a grab, which is the Wraiths, which I think is completely stupid as fuck, but I don't know. Yeah, you want to block every once in a while, whenever they're about to throw something at you, like for a fact they're about to throw it at you, that's when you kind of want to start blocking and just be on the safe side. For those that are not aware of how do I roll so fast, I don't know, like if you haven't played God of Wars before or don't know about the trick, there's a couple ways to do it, especially in the PSP one. First of all, you can just hold the dodge button, You hold what direction you're going in, and you keep tapping square or triangle, depending on the God of War game. Triangle, like square works in every game, but triangle works as well. Unless you have a move that is like evade into triangle, then I'll stop you from doing it. I think there's one God of War where you can do X, but there's not very many of them. And then for God of War like Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta, because you have a weapon switch, that's actually possibly a faster way to roll. However, I've always felt like it might be faster maybe, but you might not dodge nearly as far. I don't know. It's always kind of weird. But you'll get to see it later. But basically, you just do weapon switch. You keep tapping down on the D-pad while you're rolling to get the weapon switch, which should make you, cancel out a roll and continue to go into the next roll. So, there's that. I know I'm talking about it like 9 parts in, but just in case anybody just didn't know what I was doing. Which is kind of funny, because I remember like when I was a kid, I figured it out, and I'm like, oh wow, that's so cool. And I thought I was like the only person who thought of it, and then I looked online, I saw everyone was doing it, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it's just an accidental, like, I kind of fucked up. Or, maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe I did find it from a video, and I just took it from there, and just kept thinking, like, I figured it out on my own. I have no idea. I don't like to lie about things, okay? So I'm just saying that, I'm not exactly 100% sure if what's the case, but who the hell knows? That was a long time ago at this point. Yeah, in this area, once again, it's just a typical Atlanteans, and then we have to break down the pillars. You just attack all of them and break them. Pretty easy stuff, nothing too bad. We don't have to deal with anything too difficult just yet, but difficult stuff will show up soon. Probably not in particularly this video, but definitely at least in part 10, like I kept talking about. So, yeah, we'll have to wait until then. And then hopefully, by then, I should hopefully be able to just talk about it and give you guys at least any form of advice that I can. And I'm not 100% sure, but I wonder if the Arms of Sparta would be a good use against the electric ball guys. I don't know, but I would assume so. Oh yeah, there's another arena, of course. And it's just, the same typical arena as it always is. Basically just Atlanteans with, Gorgons. Nothing too difficult. Don't forget that you can parry that slam attack. You can't block it though, unfortunately, but you can parry it, which is nice. Prioritize, I would say, the Atlanteans here because they're a lot more aggressive and annoying than the Gorgons are. The Gorgons can't really do much to you. So you're better off just dealing with them. Gorgons are probably the weakest in this game. In terms of the God of War franchise, I would definitely wager a guess and say that Ghost of Sparta has like the weakest version of them. And then we have those snake Gorgon type things from Ascension. Those guys are an asshole. Those things suck. I think they're lamias, aren't they? I think so. I think that's the correct term for it. The snake women. Yeah, that should be right. I should know this. When I play SMT games, and I also understand Monster Girl things, so you think I would know. Yeah, once again, the explosive core is always a good tactic to kind of have just out and about if you want to kind of just stop enemies from attacking you and just give yourself like a slight bit of breathing room. But of course, it is a setup situation, so you're gonna have to remember like, oh yeah, that's right, I have to set it up. I have to wait like a few seconds for it to go off, and then I could do it. Honestly, the thing I kind of like about the thing I like about Ghost of Sparta though, is the arenas do this whole thing where they close out the arena with not just like a fog gate, but just more so. They do that every once in a while, but they seem to rely mostly on just using fences and stuff or gates and what have you to kind of close you out, which I think is kind of cool. I think it kind of gives like a bit more aesthetic to the game. It kind of makes it look a little bit more neater. I also like the way the blades look. It's one of my favorite blade designs. It's just like this greenish bluish hint or tint of color to it. I think it's kind of cool. All right, so we're back into this room again. So now I got to find an automaton and these guys. This room's actually kind of difficult. Not gonna lie. Normally I would say focus on the automaton, but instead keep them in camera's view and go for these guys instead. You're better off just chasing these guys down and killing them first because they are so damn irritating, and they spawn so many of these bastards. So, in my personal opinion, and my advice would be just go for these guys. You can't do anything against the automaton with them. You can't damage him alongside, you know, the enemies or whatever, but still. And if you're lucky enough to actually get a parry going, that's great too, of course. However, again, your main focus should be just on killing the zoners more so than dealing with him, because as long as he's on screen and you can tell where he's at, he shouldn't be too much of a big deal, because his attacks are just incredibly telegraphed. And for the most part, you know, even if like one of them can be parried. I don't know about the kick though. You probably could. I never really tried for it, but you probably could do that. And that should... Okay, I was going to say, that should open up those other two gates, but no, it opens up a different... well, it reopens up this way. We got to go back this way and then put the cog inside. Although, funny enough, like, we didn't really... I don't know, this game's weird, because, like, we didn't really go this way yet, but now I think it turned the environment around to go over here, I think. I don't know. But anyway, we got all the upgrades finally. I know I missed, like, I must have missed a Phoenix Feather who knows where. Thankfully, these games are designed mainly to give you the ability to get all the upgrades for your, you know, health, magic, and your item. Even if you miss, like, a feather or whatever, you could still technically get all of them, which is really cool. I like that. I've always enjoyed that about God of War. They're very nice about it. You don't have... If you miss something, they're not going to fuck you over for it, which... Not many games do that, though, weirdly enough. I don't feel like a lot of games do that. Well, I mean, there's games where you can use, you know, your own souls, your own currency to upgrade your health or whatever, but there's games like Ninja Gaiden which have specific puzzles centered around getting 1,000 gods, you know, getting a life up gods or whatever. Alright, so this area, I would just say focus mostly on probably just getting rid of the Gorgons, so that way if you get them into the circle execution move, you can get a stone going. So I would say worry about them. Don't worry too much about the Minotaur, because you can parry all of his attacks, so he's not really much of anything. And then doing a full triangle swing combo just to try to break him faster would be beneficial. But yeah, this room seems a lot more nasty than what it really is. Like, it kind of makes you think, like, oh man, this is going to be really tough because there's a Minotaur and there's Gorgons, I got to deal with them. But this is Ghost of Sparta. Like, don't forget that you can parry almost all the Minotaur's attacks. And on top of that, you can kind of bait him into doing a charge, which you can dodge easily. And not only that, but you got the Gorgons, which will allow you to basically just stun the enemies. So, I mean, in all reality, you're really not gonna... You shouldn't struggle too much as you would with other fights in the game. Or you wouldn't struggle as much as you think you would, pretty much, is what I'm trying to say. Like, what you think a normal God of War game would make difficult, this is just kind of whatever. Now, that's not to say, like, having the ability to parry makes a game easy. Not necessarily. It just really depends on what you're parrying, I guess. Because I'm thinking about, like, God of War 2, and I was like, yeah, you can parry a lot of shit in God of War 2, but you've got arenas that are just damn near fucking impossible sometimes, even with parry. It's ridiculous how they managed God of War 2 so difficult like that. It's insane. God of War 2 had it going, that's for sure. Translator section, the Labyrinth, or Lachesis Gauntlet fight, that thing is just a nightmare. The Barbarian fight's not really super hard, but it can be a challenge, I'm not gonna lie, which is good. The easiest, you know, the boss fights themselves, they are challenging. I do hate the fact that they have like a ton of health though, but still, I mean, I don't know, it gets a pass. It's God of War 2. It's still difficult, you know, it's still kind of fun to play and what have you. But anyway, that's gonna be it for this part. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time for some more God of War Ghost of Sparta. And of course, as always, take care, everybody.